Hi everyone and welcome to my channel called Zuzanareacts, where I learn all about India with your help and just share my thoughts as I go along the way. So in today's video, I'm actually super excited because I'm going to look into Hinduism. So it's one of the important things or the key things why I also wanted to learn a lot about India because I have some people telling me that I'm Buddhist, and then some people basically telling me that Buddhism comes from Hinduism. So I'm very keen to explore. I never really explore religions, and I know that you already mentioned that Hinduism is not a religion, but I've never really looked into, let's say, religions in a way where I look at their origins and all around that. So I'm actually quite curious to explore this topic with you guys, and obviously please do share any interesting things that you encounter or you're aware along the way. So without a further ado, let's roll the clip.
Hinduism, the religion of over 1 billion people, is the world's oldest religion and probably the most confusing one to non-Hindus. Some say it isn't even a religion, more a way of life. Hindus themselves call it the Sanatana Dharma, the eternal tradition.
Yeah, okay, finally everyone keeps saying that. Great, I got my explanation. I did not know it was the oldest religion. I would perhaps have to research how they came to that conclusion, or maybe you can let me know.
So, what is Hinduism? Does YOLO apply to them? And who is this elephant guy? Well, let's find out. Hinduism is the world's oldest active religion. It's the result of the merging of the ancient Indus Valley civilization and the nomads that came into India around 1500 BC. Some scholars say it could even go back many more thousands of years. But we won't delve too deep into dates, because dates in Hinduism are very, very controversial. But one thing is certain: Hinduism is old, like at least 36 Betty Whites. Hinduism has been around for so long that it and the concept of India itself are inseparable. Hindu and India even come from the same word. Sanskrit was the ancient language of the Hindus, and the Sanskrit name for the Indus River is Sindhu. The ancient Persians who sat across the Indus tended to switch their S's to H's, so Sindhu became Hindu. So the people living across the river became Hindus. The Persians told the Greeks, who dropped that very not Greek-like H, stuck in a very Greek-like E to the end, and boom, India. Hinduism has a long, long history.
I had no idea.
But today we'll be focusing on just the core beliefs of Hindus because I don't have the willpower to animate a 3-hour-long video.
Bless.
Hindus are a diverse group. Some are strict, dedicating their lives to prayer, while others don't believe in any gods but still follow Hindu philosophy. To make things easier to understand, let's break Hinduism down into 7 core beliefs. So, here's my rap about the 7 Hindu beliefs.
You promised you weren't gonna do the rap. Come on, you're better than this, man.
Fine. Here's the regular version then. 1. Belief in one universal soul. Hindus believe in a universal soul known as Brahman, a formless, genderless source of all reality. Brahman is the universe and the material that makes up the universe. It's a trippy concept, but think of Brahman as an ocean and everything else as drops propelling out of that ocean. Separate for a time, but still the same thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does totally make sense. That's kind of what my beliefs are. We're all one. It's all one source. Okay.
2. Belief in an immortal individual soul. In Hinduism, souls are known as Atman. Actions of the soul while in a body have effects on that soul's next life. When you die, your soul moves to another new body. This is called transmigration. The kind of body the soul inhabits next is determined by karma. 3. Belief in...
Okay, so I believe in that one. Okay, so based on belief number 1 and 2, I'm a Hindu. Okay, let's continue. I also do believe in karma. Spoiler alert.
Karma. Karma is action, usually good or bad actions that affect society. For Hindus, karmic actions in the past affect us today, and our actions today affect our soul's future. 4.
Okay, so I believe in karma. I understand karma more of like a universal law of action and reaction. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So in that way, it's kind of physics. And I do believe, or I've just had yesterday a conversation with a good friend of mine, where we're talking about that if one cannot change karma, and wow, that would be a long debate if I started getting into this, really. But he was telling me that you can amend it, but I feel like there are certain things in this lifetime that you've picked as a soul before you incarnated, that you're quote unquote destined to do. Like they're your lessons, and they might not be changed. But apparently, and I've seen it from other spiritual people, that apparently you can manage karma, and you can somehow reverse it. So food for thought.
Belief in moksha.
Oh.
The goal in Hindu life is to somehow get back to Brahman. If a Hindu can do this, they will be freed from the cycle of life and death. This is called moksha. You can achieve moksha by realizing your oneness with Brahman. How you realize this is up to you. For this reason, Hindus pray, lead me from the unreal to the real.
This is interesting. I actually believe that we are on an eternal journey as a soul to reunite with the source, and I get the concept. Okay, so I forgot what moksha. Moksha. Okay, so by the point number 4, I'm a Hindu.
5. Belief in the Vedas.
Okay, I don't know.
The Vedas are Hindu sacred books of knowledge. There are 4 Vedas. Hindus believe that all 4 were divinely revealed to ancient Hindu sages. We'll take a closer look at the Vedas in a while. 6. Belief in cyclical time. For Hindus, there are no beginnings or endings. Time is a series of cycles, each cycle containing 4 ages or yugas. There's the Krita, the Treta, the Dwapara, and the Kali. Added together, the 4 yugas total about 4.32 million years. At the end of each cycle, declining human morality leads to the total destruction of reality. Hindus believe that we are in the 4th and final yug, Kali.
Okay.
7. Belief.
Okay. Wow, this is super interesting. Okay, I do believe that time is cyclical, and you can jump through time. It's not linear. It's not what it is. I know many people that have crazy experiences and stuff like that. But I haven't heard of this concept. I would want to actually explore it a bit more. Perhaps not in this video. But man, this is fascinating. Let's continue. Dharma.
In Dharma. Dharma is a difficult word to translate to English. Proper behavior is the best that I could come up with. Dharma maintains balance in the universe. As long as everything in the universe, like animals, plants, and humans, follow their Dharma, then everything will be fine. If they break from the Dharma, though, things will be super not fine.
Okay, so I guess Dharma, what did he say, is a balance, proper balance. Isn't that maybe just like a purpose? Well, I would love to know in the comments below, like, how would you best describe it, interpret it for me? Thank you so much.
Each being has its own Dharma. A lion's Dharma is to kill and eat antelope. A king's Dharma is to rule well. A subscriber's Dharma is to smash the like button and ring the notification bell. For humans, their specific Dharma is usually based on their age and their caste. An old priest will have a very different Dharma than a young merchant, for example. So those are the 7 core beliefs of Hinduism. With them, you can understand the Hindu mindset. Unlike Christianity or Islam, Hinduism is a non-profit organization. There is no Jesus or Muhammad for Hindus. There is no Bible, Quran, or Torah. Instead, they have a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of different sacred texts. The 4 Vedas form the basis of the Hindu faith. So let's take a look at them. 1. The Rig Veda.
Okay, before we do, I feel like I'm a Hindu. I did not know. I mean, apart from knowledge of Vedas, but this is interesting. I love it.
The Rig Veda is a collection of songs that praise and discuss ideas like truth, reality, and the universe, along with discussions on war, weddings, and rituals. 2. The Yajur Veda. The Yajur Veda covers stuff such as sacrificial rites and rituals. 3. The Sama Veda. Sama literally means sweet song that destroys sorrow. It is
Wow.
mostly songs dedicated to praising gods. It's different than the rest of the Vedas because it's set to music. 4. The Atharva Veda. The Atharva Veda is my favorite one. Do you want to curse your enemies? Or charm that special someone? Maybe learn to invoke rain? Or discover herbal medicine along with tips on warfare? Like how to make poison arrows? Well, this Veda has you covered, along with a bunch of other charms and curses. It even has a curse against cursers. Avoid us, O curse, as a burning fire avoids a lake.
Wow.
Strike him here that curses us, as the lightning of heaven the tree. A link to the Atharvaveda is in the description, just in case you need a spell to get a wife or another to banish pigeons from your presence. It's great. After the Vedas come the Upanishads, which are like a sequel that makes the original make much more sense. They were probably written down between 800 BC and 500 BC, during a time when some Hindus started to question the Vedas. Their ideas became the Upanishads. The Upanishads are books on philosophy, like we would expect from Plato or Aristotle. They're all about questioning, doubt, debate, and finding the answers to life's difficult questions. A theme in the Upanishads is that people are not their minds, or bodies, or egos, but their Atman. Your soul is you. Everything else is unreal and temporary. After the holy texts,
I love this. I love this. I love this.
like the Vedas and the Upanishads, are other less divine but still important texts. These include stuff like the Puranas, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. The Puranas are like encyclopedias of Hindu beliefs. There are 18 well-known Puranas. The Puranas cover things from yoga, to army organization, to taxation, to the caste system, to hell, gods, and everything in between. The Bhagavad Gita, Gita for short, is one of Hinduism's most important texts. The Gita takes place on a battlefield where Arjuna, a great warrior, refuses to fight. Lord Krishna steps in to urge Arjuna to fight, and their discussion covers things such as dharma and how to live your best life. Arjuna eventually fought after Lord Krishna taught him the truth about dharma. As a member of the warrior caste, Arjuna's dharma was to fight against evil. The lesson of the Gita is that everyone faces difficult choices, but they must act on them according to their dharma, no matter how unpleasant. Along with all these philosophical...
Oh, I see. I think that everyone perhaps needs to act on different things in their life, but maybe not in... I would perhaps my idea would be not in alignment with the caste system that you might have. I think some of you have already explained this to me, and I get it. But man, this is cool. I never. So you know how I know Bhagavad Gita is. Do you know the movie Eat, Pray, Love with Julia Roberts? It's she went to ashram after a difficult divorce, and she was just trying to read the Bhagavad Gita over there, and she was like, I can't deal with this. So it's in like, it was very hard for her. So yeah, let's continue. I love this.
Philosophical texts, Hinduism has two action-packed epics, the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. The Ramayana, the earlier of the two texts, tells the story of Prince Rama. In the epic, you find out about his 14-year-long exile, the abduction of his wife Sita, his battle with the evil demon Ravana, and his awesome monkey sidekick Hanuman. The second epic, the Mahabharata, is the longest poem in the world. 5 times the length of the Bible and 8 times the length of the Iliad and Odyssey combined. It rivals any soap opera you've ever seen when it comes to drama.
Wow.
Murder, betrayal, love, murder, and giant battles. The Mahabharata has it all. The theme running through the Ramayana and the Mahabharata is that dharma must be followed for society to function.
Okay, interesting.
In Hinduism, there are 4 goals a person should aim for to have a good life. The first of these is dharma, followed by artha, the pursuit of prosperity and good reputation, kama, pleasure both in body and in mind, and moksha, the release from the cycles of rebirth. Hindus should practice artha and kama with dharma in order to achieve moksha. There are also 6 temptations Hindus should try and avoid. Kama, lust and materialism. This kama is different from the good kama mentioned above, I know. Next is kruda, which is anger, lobha, which is greed, moha, which is unrealistic attachment to things, people, and power,
Okay.
Mala, which is pride, and Matsarya, which is jealousy. By following their dharma and avoiding these 6 temptations, a Hindu can break the cycle of rebirth and have their soul merge back into Brahman.
Wow, I love this. I love this. It's almost along. Well, it's not really Christianity, but I feel like like the parts of Christianity also talk about the sins, and they're kind of in alignment with what Hinduism philosophy is about. It's just. Oh, very fascinated. I'm very much intrigued, and I feel like I'm just going to be, immersed in Mahabharata, Ramayana, all the Vedas. Wow.
But even though everything comes from Brahman, who is the one real thing in Hinduism, Hindus do, after all, have thousands of gods. So let's take a look at them. First, there's Brahma, the creator. He created everything in the universe, but he is not the universe itself, because that's Brahman. They aren't the same thing. That last letter changes a lot, apparently. He has 4 heads. The heads face each of the 4 directions to represent the 4 Vedas, which he created, and the 4 yugs. He also holds a book, which represents knowledge. Oh, and he rides a giant swan because he's just fancy. His consort is Saraswati, the goddess of learning. Vishnu, the preserver, is the second member of the Hindu trinity. He preserves the world created by Brahma until it is eventually destroyed by Shiva. He holds a discus, which he uses to cut down anyone that tries to mess with his dharma, along with a conch, which symbolizes victory and the 5 elements. Vishnu has many, many avatars, such as Krishna or Rama, who he uses to defend dharma on earth. Oh, and he rides a giant eagle named Garuda. Vishnu has 2 consorts, the goddess Lakshmi and Bhudevi. Bhudevi is the earth goddess, and Lakshmi is the goddess of good fortune and wealth. Next is Shiva the Destroyer, the 3rd member of the Hindu trinity. It's his job to destroy the universe in order to prepare for its renewal at the end of each cycle of time. The most identifiable of his features is his 3rd eye, which he almost always keeps closed. If he does open it and you're in front of him, then you will have your face melted off. When not unmaking existence, Shiva enjoys long walks with his bull named Nandi.
So this is interesting because it talks about divine trinity, just like in Christianity you have the God, the Holy Spirit, and the Son. So it's kind of a similar analogy, which is fascinating how, to an extent, all the religions, or I know you don't want to call this a religion, but just for the sake of the argument, are somehow similar. And it's also very interesting that Destroyer, the Shiva god, has a snake around his neck. It kind of reminds me of the snake from from Christianity, from the Eden project. So okay, it's very interesting.
At the end of the Kali Yuga, the 4th age of the world, Shiva will perform a dance that destroys the universe. Which is odd because people have told me that my dance moves make them wish the world would end. So me and Shiva have quite a lot in common. Parvati and Sati are Shiva's consorts. Shiva also has 2 sons, Ganesha and Murugan. Ganesha is worshipped as the remover of obstacles, and Murugan is the god of war. Ganesha holds a very special place in the heart of Hindus, due to him being the remover of obstacles. The elephant head is the most obvious clue to identifying him. He was actually born with a human head, but after Shiva cut that one off, he kind of had to make do with an elephant one.
Wow.
If you're Christian or Muslim, you're aware that your religion has a bunch of different denominations, like Catholics or Protestants, Sunni and Shia. Hinduism has these too. Hindus developed 4 major denominations, some of which have their own subdivisions. The Vaishnavas primarily worship Vishnu, and Shaivas primarily worship Shiva and his sons. Smartas follow sacred texts like the Puranas, the Ramayana, and the Mahabharata, rather than the Vedas. They worship 5 gods and goddesses, Ganesha, Durga, Surya, Shiva, and a preferred avatar of Vishnu. Finally, Shaktas worship the goddess Devi. Shaktas see Devi as the ultimate and eternal reality, like a feminine Brahman. Even though there are all these variations and more, the core beliefs of Hindus remain mostly the same.
Okay, can I have a question? So if you believe in Brahman, why? So I guess and the question is coming from my point of view, okay? And the way I perceive spirituality is like, again, we're all one, we're all connected. And so you are the divine, you're part of the divine, you can connect with the divine at any point that you want, because you have that sparkle within you, the God sparkle within you, if you like. So for that reason, I wouldn't go into worshipping of anything like any other gods to speak, which is kind of what you have. And it's just very interesting because you believe in this, and in my head right now it's in a direct opposite to what perhaps Hinduism is about, but I must be very wrong, and I'm sure you're going to explain this to me. Because what is the need for other gods? There's just one. That is where I'm struggling right now.
Hindus believe that Dharma keeps the balance in the universe. If the scales between good and evil start tipping towards evil, then something needs to intervene to fix the universe's Dharma. This divine intervention is known as an avatar. The literal meaning of the word avatar is descent. Avatars are gods that descend to Earth to intervene whenever help is needed to restore Dharma. For example, when the Earth was dragged underneath the ocean, Vishnu descended to Earth as the avatar Varaha, a boar, and dragged the Earth back out. In other cases, Vishnu was born on Earth as a human avatar like Rama or Krishna, where he spent his avatar's life fixing Dharma. So
this is interesting. This is very interesting because I've been looking at these things for many, many, many years. And in the last couple of years, I came across like Matias de Stefano. I don't know if you know him. He is from Latin America, and he claims that he remembers his past lives, and he talks about the blues and the civilization of Mu, and he also, I don't know if it's him or someone else, I'm mixing things up right now, but someone else, because he talks about also the creation and people coming out of our solar system to help. And then he talks about the blue ones, which you guys have a lot. Your gods are shown as the blue ones, which were apparently people that were living in the mountains. They were hidden, and they were carrying lots of knowledge, and they lived in those times for a really long time, as opposed to the quote unquote ordinary humans. And it's just, I just see a lot of similarities there. And also he talks about like how the universe was created and how our Earth became an Earth project, and that there were interventions. And for example, he also says that in order to keep the balance within the universe, things like no one can apparently on the planet Earth, because it's too important in the universe, because it was a first experiment of free will. No one can do, let's say, nuclear bomb, because it would send the energetic ripples out to the universe, and it would prevent from the balance, so from restoring Dharma. So I guess what he was saying is kind of what you guys are, or what the presenter here is explaining, that when there is like a tipping point, there is perhaps a divine intervention. We just don't call it avatars. So interesting.
The caste system. If you only know one thing about Hinduism, this is probably it. People see it as an oppressive system that locks people in place based on their birth. And for a huge part of history, that's what it's been, unfortunately. Let's do a quick explanation of what the caste system is. In Hinduism, there are 4 castes or classes that you can be born into. There's the Brahmin, the priest, the Kshatriyas, the warriors, the Vaishyas, the traders, and the Shudras, the manual laborers. The main basis for the caste system can be found in the Bhagavad Gita and the Rig Veda. Krishna says in the Gita, "I have created a 4-fold system in order to distinguish among one's qualities and functions." The Rig Veda also refers to the 4 castes. It says humans were created from parts of the god Purusha, the Brahmin from his face, the Kshatriya from his arms, the Vaishya his thighs, and the Shudra his feet. This system was supposed to assign people functions based on their abilities, not their birth. If someone had the qualities of a Brahmin or a Vaishya, they could fill those roles. The Gita didn't restrict movement among castes, and the caste system functioned as intended for a while. until a document known as the Laws of Manu came about around the 5th century BC, popularly referred to as the Manusmriti. They created hard rules for Hindu life.
Okay.
2 rules presented in it contributed to the way the caste system turned out. Manu states that the Brahmin were the lords of all castes, and he forbid moving among the castes. The caste you were born into was now the caste you're stuck in. If you give humans a hierarchy, they'll exploit it, and things will go sour pretty quickly. As time passed, Hindus began thinking in terms of upper and lower castes.
But that is like really kind of in my head, what I'm thinking is it's all about the ego, right? Like if you differentiate, it's like, and even when they were showing the different parts, because as humans, we attach meaning to different parts. And let's say maybe the head's more important than the feet, but it's not really. Like we're all equally important in order for this whole universal experience to work. So dividing it up and down, it's very, in my opinion, based on ego.
Soon, cleaning toilets, tanning leather, and dealing with meat products were thought to be impure. The people doing those jobs became untouchables, the lowest of the low, a people without caste. And the rest is history. The modern world has brought many changes though. Now Hindus mix freely while working together in the same businesses, attending the same schools, and generally just living together. But
Well, I can't get over the whole the lows of the low, because again, like I don't believe that we are. I think that the caste system was intended just to show, like, if you're talented in that manner, that perhaps is your dharma. But again, like the lowest of the low does not show that you embrace everyone, and essentially I feel like it doesn't show you understand what the universe is about, because for it to function, even what we perceive the most irrelevant person is actually super relevant for this experience to exist.
when it comes to marriage, many Hindus still stick to their own caste.
Okay.
But this too is changing, and on Hindu dating websites, you can actually see people list a non-preference for caste. It'll say caste no bar. So those are the basics of Hinduism. It isn't even close to covering everything. One video simply can't do it. Hinduism is too diverse, too deep, and means too many different things to different people. But learning even the basics of this fascinating and ancient religion gives us an insight into the worldview of over 1 billion people. And I hope you enjoyed it.
Wow. I loved it. That's all. That's all that I can say. No, it's not all that I can say. So it's interesting. I've already kind of asked in different videos about the caste, I think in one of the videos, and I would love to know how is it right now for you? Do you feel like it is still being observed? Do you feel like there are restrictions? I've mentioned in one of my videos, a friend of mine that was Indian, she told me that she had issues because of the caste of marrying someone she wanted. So how does that work? And I would love to know your perception about like worshiping different idols as opposed to God, Brahman being the unity, and that's kind of the source. So why is there a need for different kind of gods? That's kind of where I'm struggling a bit here. But man, this is amazing. I think what I found out that I'm actually a Hindu without really knowing. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, please give it a like, subscribe, and share this video. And I'm sending you so much love, and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, you take care. Bye-bye.